my quest to find interesting content for my channel, I started to jot down every single idea I could think of. The problem is, many of these ideas wouldn't make substantial videos on their own. Then it occurred to me, why don't I just combine them all into one video? So with this, I give you Rib13's Random Thoughts and Musings. To start, there's a lot of people out there that really don't know the difference between a bass and a guitar. And it's always an awkward moment for me when somebody comes up to me and says, "I like the way you play guitar." Thanks. Speaking of the difference between a bass and a guitar, back in the 1970s, there was a show called Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. And on that show, there was a character named Rudy who played this guitar. Fast forward a few decades, and this instrument reappears on South Park, this time as a bass played by the character Token. So explain to me, when is a bass a guitar? Nope. No. Stop it. Here's something annoying. A lot of the rooms that I play have natural low-end resonance. The problem is, when customers hear something amiss in the lower register, they just call it bass. They don't mean me specifically, they're just talking about the low end of the band. So if an errant floor tom mic starts feeding back, whoop, a customer will come up to the stage and say, "Hey, the bass is too loud." And I'll get blamed for it. One time, I was playing with a guitar player who had so much low end coming out of the periphery of his guitar amp that it was actually clashing with what I was playing on stage. Yet when a customer came to him and said, "Hey, there's too much bass," this guitar player actually told me to turn down. Have you ever noticed that sometimes basses can say their names? Like precision and jazz basses are kind of warm, and if you use them to walk a bass line, it goes Fender, 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 Fender. 4001 and 4003s have that mid-range growl when you use a pick, and they go Rick, 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 Rick. Ernie Balls have that top-end sizzle, so they at least say half their names. Sting, 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 sting. If you slap an alembic, it goes alembic, alembic. Gibsons? For some reason, most of them seem to go EBO, EBO. Something that Gibson does occasionally is offer their models of guitars and basses with reverse bodies. So back in the 2000s, somebody at Gibson thought it would be a great idea to put out a reverse Flying V. I mean seriously, this thing is really a flying what the f***. Have you ever opened up a bass case or a gig bag and found these little packets of Silica Gel? And if you have you ever noticed that it says, "Do not eat," written right on the packet? It makes me wonder, are there really people out there that see these things and go, that looks delicious? Before Chuck E. Cheese used plastic cards to count tickets digitally, their games used to dispense actual real paper tickets. Sometimes Chuck E. Cheese would come out himself, and the little kids would gather all around him. And then he would take a bunch of tickets and throw them in the air, and the kids would go scrambling to go pick them up. And to me, it looked like a little mosh pit. If you play in a band with a very edgy name with a lot of shock value, how do you explain your band to your family, especially if you have grandparents?
My grandson is in law school. My granddaughter is a nurse. My grandson plays bass for a band called Screwdriver Rectal Exam.
I'm Rib13. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I do have a Patreon account, and as always, I'd like to thank my patrons, Derek and Joe, for keeping this channel going. And I'll see you next time.